Hi everyone, so today I'm going to film another LitChat video where I talk about and review books that I've read, and you can make sure to follow me on Goodreads. It's a website where you can keep track of all the books that you've read. I will list the link to my Goodreads profile below. You can add me there as a friend, because what I figured is I'm not going to be reviewing every single book that I read on my channel, just because I've been reading so much that I don't want my channel to turn into like just one big book review channel. I wanted to kind of do other videos as well. Today I thought I would talk about two books that I read that I actually really enjoyed. So if I keep looking down here, because I'm looking at my actual Kindle, so the first one that I'm going to review is Enclave, I think, by Anne Aguirre, and I loved this book. This was so good. I really liked it. And basically what this is about, it's a dystopian, futuristic book. So in the book, the main character, our main protagonist, is Deuce. That's her name, and she's a girl who lives in this enclave. That's what the name is for. And it's basically a society that is now living underground in the New York subways in like very rough conditions, and they have to protect themselves from zombies because, well, they're basically zombies because some kind of like virus has broken out. She's part of the hunters, and the hunters in this enclave are responsible for finding food. She's very strong and she has like really well-developed survival skills. But then something happens in the enclave and she's actually banished from the group. So they kick her out basically with another hunter that is her hunting partner, and his name is Fade. The first part, when they're like below ground, when they're still in the subway system, it's very like claustrophobic. You totally get a feel for how dangerous it must be to live down there, and like they never go up above, so she's never seen the world above like the subways. So yeah, just that feeling of claustrophobia, and it was like really action-packed, like when she has to go out hunting like in the subways and they get attacked by zombies basically, and it's really action-packed. Starts to kind of develop like a closer bond to Fade, her hunting partner, because he's kind of like an outcast in the society. And once they get above, obviously they have to fight to survive because there's other like gangs out there. They discover that there's other gangs like living above in the world. They have to struggle together to, find like a safer place for them. And they meet people along the way, and it kind of talks about their stories as well a little bit, and their, where they lived before. And, like, I think there is going to be a second book published next year. So I really enjoyed this. It was it's very fast paced, and the description is like, it's very cinematic, like in the fight scenes and stuff. I could totally picture this like as a movie in my head. So that was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. And the next two books I'm going to be talking about are by James Dashner, and it's another trilogy. So the first two books have been released, and the third one I think is coming out either this year or next year, I'm not sure. But the first book in the series is called The Maze Runner, and the second book is The Scorch Trials. So I read both of those, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail about the second one, just because I don't want to give away any spoilers. Maze Runner, it's another dystopian, futuristic setting, and basically it revolves around our main protagonist, Thomas, and he is like a teenage boy, and one day he wakes up with no memory, like basically his whole memory has been wiped, so he has no idea who he really is or where he comes from. Like, he doesn't really know anything, and he wakes up in this glade. Other kids are there as well, so there's other like teenagers there, and they're all boys. And so he tries to figure out like where he is and what's going on and stuff, and basically they have been put into, all these teenage boys have been put into this restricted environment, and outside of their little place where they live is like a big maze, so like a big labyrinth, and none of them have any idea why they're there, and all of the other boys have like lost their memory too, so they know that something like obviously happened to them to bring them to this point. And outside in the maze there are like evil or like destructive kind of monsters. Like they're almost like predator monsters, but they're sort of mechanical. Like comes what's known as the Maze Runner, which is what the book is called. And the Maze Runners are like a group of these boys go out every day to explore the maze, and it's like really dangerous because there's these like monsters out there who can kill them, and boys have died, you know, before. So they're trying to explore the maze to see if there's like some way out. A day after Thomas arrives, another person arrives at the maze, and it's a girl. And it's the first girl that's ever arrived, and she is like in a coma, but she can communicate telepathically with Thomas. So Thomas has no idea how he can do this because he can't communicate with any of the other boys. He can only communicate with this girl. And they find out that they have some kind of like a shared history, so there's some kind of like connection between these two, but they don't know why. You know, in the beginning it was a bit slow just because it was kind of like trying to just explore the area and stuff, and the author I think was just trying to get you a feel of what happens. And but the rest is like really action-packed because they have to try and figure out how to get out because they know that the project's going to end, like this experiment is ending, and if they don't find a way out, they're all gonna die. So I really enjoyed this book. I liked the first one, and the second one is the Scorch Trials, so I won't tell you, you know, what happens because otherwise I'm gonna give you everything away. I didn't like the Scorch Trials as much because I felt it was I felt like the author didn't give enough answers. Like, it's one of those books where there's a lot going on, but everything is very confusing, and you still have really no idea of what's actually happening. Like, why is this happening to these people? I'd already invested so much time in this book, so I wanted more answers, which the author didn't give. And there is going to be a third one. So I will be reading the third one, I think, when it comes out, because I do finally want to know like what happens and like, you know, who are these people and like these experiments and stuff. I really hope you enjoyed this review of those books. Check them out, and I'll see you very soon. Bye everyone.